keyed switch can indeed be installed to control a fan inside a heater, replacing a standard toggle switch. This can be beneficial when access to the heater needs to be restricted to qualified personnel. Here are the general steps for this modification. Firstly, always prioritize safety. The very first step is to disconnect the electrical power supply to the heater. This is achieved by locating the appropriate circuit breaker in the electrical panel that feeds power to the heater and switching it to the off position. Alternatively, if the heater is powered via a fuse, carefully remove the fuse. Ensuring the power is completely off is crucial to prevent electrical shock. Secondly, after confirming the power is off, the next step is to remove the existing toggle switch. Typically, toggle switches are secured with screws. Carefully unscrew these screws to detach the switch from its mounting. Once the screws are removed, gently pull the switch out to expose the wiring connections. Thirdly, identifying and connecting the wires properly is essential. Heat switches usually have terminals labeled L for line, N for neutral, and F for fan. The fan wires will likely be labeled L for line 1, L2 for line 2, and N for neutral. You will connect the L wire from the keyed switch to the L wire from the fan. Connect the N wire from the keyed switch to the M wire from the fan. Connect the F wire from the keyed switch to the L2 wire from the fan. It is important to use appropriately sized wire connectors, such as wire nuts, to ensure secure and insulated connections. Be absolutely certain that all connections are firm and that no bare wire is exposed. Fourthly, after making the wiring connections, secure the keyed switch in place. Position the keyed switch into the opening where the previous toggle switch was located. Use screws that are appropriate in length and thread to fasten the keyed switch securely to the mounting structure. Avoid over-tightening the screws to prevent damaging the switch or the mounting surface. Fifthly, once the keyed switch is securely installed, you can restore the power to the heater by switching the circuit breaker back to the on position or by reinserting the fuse. After restoring power, test the operation of the keyed switch. Insert the key and turn the switch to the on position. The fan inside the heater should start running. Turn the switch to the off position and the fan should stop. If the fan operates correctly, the installation is successful. However, there are crucial notes to keep in mind. This is a general overview. The specific installation steps may differ based on the specific make and model of the heater and the keyed switch being used. Always consult the manufacturer's instructions for both the heater and the keyed switch before starting the installation. These instructions will provide detailed information specific to the equipment being used. And lastly, any electrical work should be performed by a qualified and licensed electrician to ensure compliance with local electrical codes and safety standards. Working with electricity can be dangerous, and improper installation can lead to electrical shock, fire hazards, or damage to equipment. It is always best to err on the side of caution and seek professional assistance if you are not comfortable performing the installation yourself. Before commencing any electrical work, it's important to be aware of and adhere to all relevant safety regulations and electrical codes. These codes are designed to protect individuals and property from electrical hazards. Familiarize yourself with the National Electrical Code, known as NEC, and any local electrical codes that apply to the installation. Ensure that all materials and equipment used are listed or certified by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories, known as UL. This certification indicates that the equipment has been tested and meets safety standards. Use appropriate personal protective equipment, including safety glasses, insulated gloves, and appropriate clothing. Avoid wearing any metallic jewelry or accessories that could conduct electricity. A voltage tester is an indispensable tool for electrical work. Use a voltage tester to verify that the power is indeed off before you begin working on any electrical circuit. Test each wire individually to ensure that no voltage is present. When making wire connections, use appropriately sized wire connectors that are designed for the gauge of wire being used. Wire connectors should be properly tightened to ensure a secure and reliable connection. Label all wires and connections clearly to avoid confusion and to facilitate future troubleshooting or maintenance. Use a permanent marker or labeling machine to create clear and durable labels. Inspect all wiring and connections thoroughly after completing the installation to ensure that there are no loose connections, exposed wires, or other potential hazards. Double-check all connections to verify that they are secure and properly insulated. It is important to understand wire sizing and ampacity. The size of the wire used to connect the keyed switch to the fan must be adequate to handle the current drawn by the fan motor. Consult the heater's specifications or the fan motor's nameplate to determine the amperage rating of the fan. Then, refer to the NEC Table 310.15, formerly known as 310.16, or a similar table in your local electrical code to determine the appropriate wire size based on the amperage and the wire insulation type. Using undersized wire can lead to overheating, voltage drop, and potentially a fire hazard. When selecting a keyed switch, ensure that it is rated for the voltage and current requirements of the fan motor. The switch's voltage and amperage rating should be equal to or greater than the voltage and amperage of the fan. Using a switch with an inadequate rating can cause the switch to fail prematurely or create a safety hazard. Also, ground the heater. The heater should be properly grounded to provide a safe path for fault current in the event of an electrical fault. Ensure that the grounding conductor is connected to the heater's grounding terminal and that the grounding system is properly connected to the building's electrical system. Inspect the heater for any signs of damage or wear before beginning the installation. Check the wiring, insulation, and other components for any cracks, breaks, or corrosion. If any damage is found, repair or replace the affected components before proceeding. Also, ensure proper ventilation for the heater. Heaters generate heat, and it is important to ensure that the heater has adequate ventilation to prevent overheating. Do not block the heater's vents or place combustible materials near the heater. The installation of the keyed switch should not compromise the heater's ventilation. Make sure that any openings or vents are not obstructed. After completing the installation, test the operation of the heater under various conditions. Monitor the heater's temperature, airflow, and other performance parameters to ensure that it is operating safely and efficiently. If you notice any unusual behavior, such as overheating, excessive noise, or strange odors, disconnect the power to the heater immediately and consult a qualified electrician. Keep a detailed record of the installation, including the date, time, materials used, and any observations or measurements taken. This record can be helpful for future troubleshooting or maintenance. Store the manufacturer's instructions for the heater and the keyed switch in a safe and accessible location. These instructions contain important information about the equipment and should be readily available for reference. Consider adding a label or tag near the keyed switch indicating that access to the heater is restricted to qualified personnel only. This can help to prevent unauthorized access to the heater and ensure that only trained individuals perform maintenance or repairs. If the heater is located in a commercial or industrial setting, it may be subject to regular inspections by local authorities. Be sure to comply with all applicable regulations and to maintain proper records of all inspections and maintenance activities. If you are unsure about any aspect of the installation, consult a qualified electrician. The electrical work can be dangerous, and it is always best to err on the side of caution. A qualified electrician can ensure that the installation is performed safely and in accordance with all applicable codes and regulations. After completing the keyed switch installation, periodically inspect the switch and wiring for any signs of wear, damage, or loose connections. Tighten any loose connections and replace any damaged components promptly. Regular inspections can help to prevent electrical hazards and ensure the continued safe operation of the heater. In addition to the keyed switch, consider installing other safety devices to protect the heater and its users. These devices may include overcurrent protection such as fuses or circuit breakers and ground fault circuit interrupters, known as GFCIs. These devices can help to prevent electrical shocks and fires. When replacing the toggle switch with a keyed switch, choose a keyed switch that is designed for the specific application. There are different types of keyed switches available, each with its own features and benefits. Select a switch that is durable, reliable, and easy to operate. Consider using a keyed switch with a high security key to prevent unauthorized access to the heater. When connecting the wires to the keyed switch, use a wiring method that is appropriate for the application. Common wiring methods include using wire nuts, crimp connectors, or terminal blocks. Choose a wiring method that is reliable, durable, and easy to install. Ensure that all wire connections are properly insulated to prevent electrical shorts. After installing the keyed switch, test the operation of the heater under different load conditions. Verify that the heater is operating properly and that the keyed switch is functioning as intended. Monitor the heater's temperature and airflow to ensure that it is not overheating. If the heater is equipped with any safety features, such as a thermal cutoff switch, test these features to ensure that they are functioning properly. Also, use proper grounding techniques. Proper grounding is essential for electrical safety. Ensure that the heater is properly grounded to prevent electrical shocks. Connect the heater's grounding conductor to a grounding electrode, such as a ground rod or a metal water pipe. If the heater is located in a damp or wet location, use a ground fault circuit interrupter to protect against electrical shocks. Consider the environmental conditions when selecting a keyed switch. If the heater is located in a harsh environment, such as a dusty, wet, or corrosive environment, choose a keyed switch that is designed to withstand these conditions. Look for a switch that is sealed to protect against moisture and dust. If the heater is located in an area where it is exposed to vibration, choose a keyed switch that is designed to withstand vibration. Always adhere to local electrical codes. Electrical codes vary from location to location. Be sure to comply with all applicable electrical codes when installing the keyed switch. If you are unsure about the electrical codes in your area, consult a qualified electrician. Also, consider the aesthetics of the installation. While safety is the primary concern, consider the aesthetics of the installation when choosing a keyed switch. Choose a switch that is visually appealing and that complements the design of the heater and the surrounding area. If the heater is located in a prominent location, consider using a decorative switch plate to enhance the appearance of the installation. Consider the long-term maintenance requirements. When choosing a keyed switch, consider the long-term maintenance requirements. Select a switch that is easy to maintain and repair. If the switch is likely to require periodic maintenance, choose a switch that is easy to disassemble and reassemble. Be prepared for emergencies. Electrical emergencies can occur at any time. Be prepared for emergencies by having a plan in place. Know how to disconnect the power to the heater in an emergency. Keep a fire extinguisher nearby in case of a fire. Know how to contact emergency services in case of an accident. And remember to document your work for future reference. Keep a detailed record of the installation, including the date, time, materials used, and any observations or measurements taken. This record can be helpful for future troubleshooting or maintenance. Store the manufacturer's instructions for the heater and the keyed switch in a safe and accessible location.